Shalom, 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 shalom. I'll start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hakodash, double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwat out there listening and learning, Lord, willingly this is edifying. Shalom to Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's brother y'all shopping. I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And basically, this lesson is like an impromptu. I probably only got like 9 minutes, and I wanted to do the lesson, but I, went and got something to eat, and I'm kind of sluggish. Not an excuse, Scriptures talk about this devil's gonna wear out the saints, of the Most High. So again, I made this statement in a previous video. You're supposed to be tired. You're supposed to be, and if you ever played any sports, it's a such thing called a mental toughness. You got to go through the suck. I believe the Marines coined that term, the suck. Babylon the Great is the great suck. But I was just sitting back meditating. This is probably like an impromptu. I ain't got much scriptures, but I thought about a few when I was, in the mindset of making a lesson about this because, I have like lessons set up, and I still do, but, battling like we all are. I just noticed recently, like the Lord has pretty much been put me in, different trials, taking me through different trials and tribulations, different temptations where, pretty much where, if you can actually, like, I'm not saying that that's the route you should go. If anything, being that we're supposed to be spiritual men, we're supposed to, pretty much deal and apply everything that happens to us. We're supposed to apply everything, with everything that happens to us, we're supposed to apply the scriptures. Trying to see how to word that correctly. And, we're not supposed to get carnal. We're supposed to be spiritual. Scriptures talk about, basically a spiritual man, judge of all things, but, I've noticed as of lately, the Lord been putting me in, and it's funny too with this job, even with the, like the Lord be looking out for me. I realize that my help come up from on high. What's that? Psalms, I think it's either 121 or 140. I think it's 121. You say I look up to the hills and from where my help come, roughly paraphrased. So, I know that the Lord be looking out for me, but then he also tries and tests me. And, I was speaking on this job and, I was just like, damn, because I noticed, and then I didn't realize what took place as far as Issachar, what Issachar doing, Northern Kingdom tearing shit up. But, that's all spiritual, and then, just something literally happened recently, which it was another spiritual test, and it kind of got physical, I had to restrain somebody from literally doing me harm, and, nothing goofy happened out of it, it was kind of comical, to be honest, because you ever seen like some movie shit, somebody trying to do something to you and hit somebody else? So, but I was thinking about that because at the end of the day, I was like, damn, the Lord is really trying, like really tested, he allowed nothing bad to happen like that. So again, no real judgment went forth, but at the same time, he created a situation that could have played out in different ways. And it just made me think about, how we got to tread wisely, especially with the times we're in. Scriptures talk about ye be circumspect, because, what's that, Peter, when it talks about, because your adversary, the devil, walk around like a roaring lion seeking whom he shall devour. So you got to be on the lookout for what's going on, and especially watching to see, your surroundings, who are around you, watch these niggas, these women, you got to watch your kids sometimes for real. You just got to, be in the mindset of understanding how close we really are, Scriptures talk about. I was thinking about, like I said again, because both situations with this job and in this situation, again, scriptures talk about seeing that all these things should be dissolved. What manner of person are ye ought to be? Knowing what's about to take place in this world. Do you really want to be a carnal individual? The battle that's coming. You might have to carnally run from some places or whatnot. You might even have to get a motherfucker off you. Like, that's what I thought about when the motherfucker attacked. And it was so crazy too because, it was a very what's the word? Emotional situation when it comes to your children, you know what I mean? I know what I do over my children, so you know what I mean? But it was like maybe, because sometimes I think back and I could be like a real, like I said, how the elders say, learn to be an asshole. I could be a real asshole, right? So, but the thing is, I was thinking about what I said, and I said, I didn't say anything. I just kept on repeating the same thing. Like, I mean, ultimately, it was Satan in the midst of all this, you know what I mean? Like, Satan got involved, and, Satan got involved and pretty much stirred up some shit, when it's dealing with women keep shit going, they drama queens. So, long story short, though, I was just thinking, like, damn, I had to pretty much restrain this person from attacking me, but at the same time, and I didn't, like attack back, because I didn't need to, you know what I mean? This is a weaker vessel, you know what I'm saying? But I was just thinking in my mind, in my mind's eye, I'm thinking like, damn, this shit so crazy. I'm not even laying with this woman. But I saw like how the spirit roused up on the bitch, you know what I mean? And then come to find out, like, this woman really like fucked up in the mind, Seemed like just these demons with these fucked up mental straitjacket mental hospital patients be just attracted to me. And I'm not even, but anyway, long story short, I was just thinking like, damn, if I'd have reacted carnally and hit this bitch, who's to say how the outcome of it would have been, So, you got to appreciate the little small victories, but it made me realize that the Lord is going to be testing all the way till we get into the chariot, That's just proven, and the tests are going to intensify, Again, we ain't in the time where, you might have had a little bad habit or was going off on something, the Lord gave you, a few different times to bump your head. Like I may mention it with my demon, I was never really in love. Like, I had love for it, but I was never in love. So Jake probably would wonder, like, well, damn, why you keep on dealing with her or going back to it because of the children, Not understanding even the simplicity of that. Like, they not mine, And a lot of Jake, like, that's a level up type of situation because every Jake can't walk away from their kids. So you commend a man that can. I heard about the one particular area. He said he gave up 6. I was like, God damn, can you imagine that? Jake always quick to say what they can do, but then even never was put in a position to have to do it. So how can you say what you're going to do? You don't know what you're going to do until you've done it. You know what I mean? You got motherfuckers that practice boxing all day and then get in the ring and get knocked the fuck out because you got to apply what you learned. Some of that shit muscle memory, but also some of it is, you got to apply what you know, And that's the point of this truth, you know what I mean? We learning, what pleasing to the Heavenly Father, how to operate in the world, all these different, proverbs and different pieces of wisdom we use to navigate this cruel, wicked ass world. Because what the 1 John chapter was that, I forget where is it. I think 2, but it's in 5 too. To talk about the whole world life and wickedness, and the lust of this world, pretty much will blind you. So if you don't know how to navigate through the scriptures to avoid those traps and snares, you're gonna be caught and trapped. So ultimately, the point of the lesson was, I was just meditating on the fact that, this thing is getting, it's been real, but it's getting realer, and, tread wisely, you know what I mean? Again, I quoted Ephesians, be ye circumspect, because the days are truly evil. I just quoted what that Ephesians chapter 5, 15 and 16. So with that, I'm going to end the lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kodash, double honors to the elders and to the apostles that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Now more so than ever, shalom to the Akim, Akwak out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this was edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land and other nations appearing like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yashar Allah, and Wak Lababal.